Welcome to the ExAnime Podcast, episode 31.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be episode 31. Because listen, man, I just edit them and I throw them up and I'm like, yo, Justus will do something with them later.
Yes,
It's
we
a
are
special-
on episode 31.
Yep, it's a special episode this week. A-list and B-list will be next. Well, next time is B-list.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, because we were doing a special again. Last special was Magoon Train, or is that how you say it? Magoon Train?
Infinity Train.
Yeah, Infinity Train.
Mugen Train.
Mugen Train, that's what it is. This week it's Promare.
Yes.
I keep wanting to say Prompe. Because what's the name of the city in Promare? It's like Prompolius.
Yeah, something like that.
It's basically a play on like Pompeii
Yeah.
on there. Dude, movie, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I think the thing is the movie was fun to watch. Characters were great. Music was great. Fighting was fantastic the last half. But the story was like, I feel like if they had a small series before it, it would have done better than just doing like, hey, here's a movie. Right? Because it's just a movie. No, but the thing is, if you watch Gurren Lagann and you like Gurren Lagann, because Promare is done by Studio Trigger, which also did Gurren Lagann, there's a lot of fucking scenes in that show where you're like, oh, they just straight up stole that from Gurren Lagann. Like, it's very much like some of the mechs at the end look like the mechs from Gurren Lagann. The fights, the stuff they say, the feels, even some of the music is the same because you haven't seen it, but I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the city is Prompolis.
Prompolis, that's what it is. Basically, the whole story really, it starts off following, like the first 10 minutes of the movie starts off following like this fire department that puts out fires from these, what are they called?
The Burnish.
The Burnish, yeah. And the fire department's putting it out, and it makes it look like the movie's going to be about like this small fire department, like all 5 of them. After like the first 10 minutes, they basically say fuck you to the rest of the characters, and they're like, yep, you don't really hear them talk again the rest of the movie, and all you hear is what you thought the bad guy was, because he's one of like the Burnish terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was it? Rad Madness or whatever? Or Rad Burn, I think is the name of their terrorist group, or quote unquote terrorist group is what they're labeled as.
Mad Burnish.
Mad Burnish, that's what it is. The movie's pretty good overall. Like I said, like the thing is, if you have epilepsy, don't watch the fucking movie, because literally like 2 seconds in, you just get a shitload of flashing like red, blue, and like green lights, and you're like, oh, this is a lot. Then they flash it even more in your face, like they do a close up on a shitload of lights flashing really quick. I was like, oh man, I feel really bad because there was zero warning about epilepsy at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah,
I feel like that should have been a big warning. Even in like when you're in that title menu, you're like, oh shit. Like you should give a warning for this. I don't know if it's required in Japan, but I think it's required in the US. Because you see it a lot.
I'm not sure. But yeah, look, my thoughts on the movie, there was definitely some points where I couldn't help but like crack jokes at some of the ridiculousness of what was going on.
The biggest being they named the robot at one point. It's like, oh, look, this is my robot. Deus Ex Machina. And it's like, both of us looked at each other like, fucking really? That's what you're going with for this name of this robot?
Yeah, I literally just yelled like, oh, come on. Like,
that's literally what it was. No, what then later on, after they named that robot, then they, what the fuck did they name it? Because they had the robot Deus Ex Machina. Mm-hmm. Then later the robot transformed when they use the
Burnish powers.
Philo, I think his name is.
Philo. Phodia, but
Phodia.
It's Leo is the first name.
Leo is like what the main bad guy you see at first, but he's not really a bad guy. He uses his power to like basically supercharge a robot, and it literally turns into the fucking robot from Gurren Lagann, like on episode like 4 when the robot evolves. I was like, come the fuck on, guys. Like, really? Like, I know you want to hit some stuff on the nose, kind of a tip of the fedora to your Gurren Lagann fans, but that's like big old cowboy hat tipping,
But I think that's kind of more along the lines of waterboarding your fans into being like, do you get the reference? But like,
no, like the whole movie was the beginning was super fast paced. Then like the whole middle chunk was just super fucking dead. Like the second quarter.
Yeah, like there was
There's a-
definitely a build in what was going on, but I think it was slightly off pace. And
Well, yeah, it didn't feel. The thing is,
Mhm.
like, this is something that I feel like would have benefited from a like short series of maybe like 6 or 7 episodes rather than a movie. Because it definitely felt like that at points. And when they cut the black, it's like, oh, it's been about 24 minutes. This feels like an episode.
Mhm.
Because it's hard in a movie to do something this action packed and this kind of like Trigger type style. Because Trigger has a definite style, and most of their stuff is usually a series, then a movie. Like Gurren Lagann was like full series, then movie. And then something else Trigger did. Oh, why can't I think of the name of it? Look it up. Studio Trigger.
Kill la Kill,
Yeah.
Darling.
Oh man, I
They
even
did
made
BNA.
I even made a joke partway through. It's like, don't you think camera angles are pretty weird? And it's just like straight up ass shot. She's like turned around. Her ass is like 90% of the frame is just her ass. She turns her head around to ask a question. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you can do better than this. Don't make it as bad. Yeah, Kill la Kill. That's what some of the fights felt like. Because you know, we can Kill la Kill when they like hit each other, and then you get that long, like, you know, they're flying for what feels like miles and miles, but it's only like a few feet. That was definitely like a nod to like Kill la Kill as well.
Yeah,
Even the fighting style too. It felt very like Kill la Kill style. And even the bad guy at the end, his robot,
the governors.
yeah, the governor's robot that had the giant, like, it had a very much reference of Kill la Kill, like the girl in the white suit. I'm very bad with names if you can't tell.
Yeah, his name was Cray Forsyth.
Cray, that's what it is. Because they kept fucking yelling every time. They're like, Cray!
Yeah, I don't. I think the show was, or the movie was interesting. Maybe because I haven't really seen, like, I've seen 2 episodes of Kill la Kill, and haven't seen any of Gurren Lagann.
You're missing a lot. Both of those shows are very, very well animated and super, super good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about like Kill la Kill. I just ended up getting like super busy and never had the chance to go back to it. And like Gurren Lagann was like in that extended break that I had taken between originally watching anime and then getting back into anime. So it's kind of just hovering in the like to watch list. For the fans that have like seen those, I feel like would definitely give this movie a higher rating than someone who hasn't seen any like of those, and maybe get some of the references, because there's a couple parts in there where it's like, oh well, that's kind of weird, like this random like oversized like large fat rat, and you're like, oh, that's like something like,
It's like the hedgehog from, I think it's a hedgehog from Gurren Lagann. It's kind of a nod to that, because there's a lot of shows like even Little Witch Academia where they have something like that. That's kind of like, I think, a Trigger style thing. It was also in the original like manga as well, or I should say light novel. But it's definitely something where Studio Trigger's like, giant robots, mouse that hangs out with the main character, fucking sold.
yeah, and it just threw me off because it was just there, and it's like, well, I get like, you know, fire people and stuff, but I don't know, that was just kind of odd.
Think of like a Fire Force meets Gurren Lagann. That's kind of what not really feels like. Because the thing that kind of surprised me was they introduced the bad guys as like people that can control flames, but they don't turn into like zombies like they do in Fire Force. Which I think was kind of a nice touch, because it's like, what's the point of becoming like a zombie with fire, like in Fire Force? But in this one, it's like, yeah, they can control it. There was this whole big battle, this fight, and they were like, yeah, it was 30 years ago. I was like, fuck, that's only 30 years ago? Sorry, and they already fixed everything? Sorry, I'm very tired. It's late. We watched the movie. I don't know. Like, we even talked about it at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, great. 2 world-ending disasters within 30 years. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, everything's back to normal. Also, at one point, they're literally like punching the planet, and it's like, That's not how that works.
Oh yeah, that's literally a whole thing from Gurren Lagann. I was telling Justice they had this giant robot, because Gurren Lagann still holds the record for the biggest robot. I think it's like 100 trillion light years tall is like how big that robot was supposed to be, and they had a fight. And I was like, okay, guys, like, come on. And they very much did a thing like one of the final fights in Gurren Lagann, even Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, they do the thing where they split the face in half, and it's like each half of the face is the two people fighting for good that team up, and then they defeat the enemy. That is very much a trigger type of thing, it feels like, and they did it again in this movie, and I was like, come on, guys. You know what's also bullshit? The fucking spaceship they're trying to escape on, they're like, it can only hold 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, they're all in bunkers underground with these giant, basically they fucking take all these skyscrapers above the ship to like leave the planet to teleport to another world. They got fucking 10,000 people is all you can take. And I'm like, you're taking like 1,000 fucking skyscrapers with you. And you can't fucking take, one or two more people. It's like, nah. They're very adamant about it too. Wasn't they said it once? They said it like 8 times. Like, nah, only 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. They're in a bunker, all 10,000 of them. Those 10,000 people are fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they survived that. Well, I guess it is the world of Trigger, but they're fucking dead.
Yeah. Also, look, there's a lot to pick apart where you just have those moments where it's like, well, that's kind of weird because one of the main fire brigade, the firefighters, Anya, her sister is one of the like engineers working on the engine for this ship, Harris.
Yeah. Well,
and she like overloads that area and it blows up. There's no one else around her, but she's like unscathed standing in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
It's like that whole area done blown up.
Everyone's dead.
Why does it look like everyone else died? And you're just like, yeah, I'm good.
Plot armor, man. Fucking plot armor. No,
Yeah.
remember the fight on top of the fucking ship with the captain of the fire brigade and then the freezer force? They have a freezer force, which just reminds me of Frieza force. Because they all have fucking things over their eyes. So it's literally like Frieza force, just their fucking scooters. Yeah. But there's this scene where, I'll get to it, but I don't know where they get these fucking trucks from because they're fucking durable as shit.
Yeah, they're
But
absolutely
basically, the
ridiculous.
fucking captain of the fire brigade and the fucking captain of the freezer force fucking hit their cars with each other. And like, oh, they're going to hit the cars with each other and they get out and have a fist fight. No, they go through their fucking front windshields, headbutt each other, and start yelling at each other.
Mm-hmm. By the way, that's the end of the fight for them. They never go back to that.
Yeah, that's the only time they fight. They're just like, oh, no, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But the fucking, like, this whole show, this whole movie, you watch it, and they have these, like, comically large, like, basically think of, like, a souped-up, like, Hummer is what they look like. And that's their car that flies, like, it transforms and flies. But they also, apparently those cars can just go anywhere and take a beating from anything. And they shoot missiles out of the front, the side, and then they have, like, miniguns. They shoot these guns to have, I think, call them, like, freezer bullets. And they shoot the bullets of these, like, burners. Oh, sorry, what are they called again?
The burners?
The people that can catch on fire. The
Burners.
Oh, burners? I thought they are the Branish.
Burnish.
Burnish, that's what it is. Sorry. The burnish, they shoot these bullets at the burnish, and the hotter they burn, the more like it freezes. Which, I mean, I don't know of anything that does that, but that's, listen, it's kind of like a, here we go.
Fantasy science.
Yeah, they're like, we couldn't figure this out. Here you go. Which is kind of cool, because at one point they're like, hey, look, we stumbled upon this settlement. Let's freeze them all to death. It's like, what pisses me off, though, is they kick some of the people off the top of like this. It's like a 40-foot like high structure.
Mm-hmm.
They freeze them, kick them off perfectly fine. Literally, they drop one block on top of another block, and it shatters. So, like, careful, they're going to die. We need them alive. It's like, how can it take, like, a 40-foot fall? Be fine, but you put one thing on top of it, and then it... You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I got a lot of beef with the smaller details of the show. It was fun to watch. It's just, come on, guys. Be consistent with your shit. Like, I've seen Trigger do stuff that's, I guess Kill la Kill is another example. Like, it's technically not consistent throughout the whole show, but it's just super fucking fun to watch. Also, Kill la Kill, literally they got to do something about those camera angles because it's just fan service, and people that's trying to defend it, like, no, it's just the battle style. It's like, listen, they're fighting in thongs and skirts that don't even cover their ass. Like, the skirt covers the top part of their ass. You know what you're getting into. Or the whole Sailor Moon transformation of, like, fucking Kill la Kill. Have you seen it? It's just 100% fan service. Don't get me wrong. I like the show. I think the fighting's great, but we all know why everybody watched the show.
Yeah. Overall, I do think the show was fairly fine. There was definitely that like, oh, you thought I was the final boss, but the final boss, is actually
They did it like 8 times.
Yeah. I did kind of call it because of the governor Cray, who is the head of like both the government of the city and also
he's a multi-billionaire.
Mhm.
Develops all this like technology for the city or the world for anti-burnish technology, and he's the governor of this like basically he's like the governor of like I don't know the biggest city in the world.
Cali.
Yeah, they basically say he's the governor. He's basically like the president
Like
of
LA
the
area. Yeah.
massive city. He's got all this power, and we literally sit here and I think you said like, oh man, there's laws against that.
Yeah.
Got too much power.
Mm-hmm. But sorry.
Okay, there.
Yeah, the
Fucking
throat
nerd.
kind of hurt. But it seemed like so obvious because even at one point where they're like introducing him and our main guy Gallo, he's like, oh, he saved my life. And it's like, how much you want to bet like he's the bad guy? And of course he ended up being the bad guy.
It's a pretty obvious like he's the baddie.
Yeah.
Also,
I guess I
like,
just couldn't turn my brain off when it came to like looking at some of that, and it's like, oh, well, this is gonna be the thing, huh?
Also, there's one scene. There's 2 scenes. There's a scene where our main dude, what's his name again? Gallo. Sorry. Gallo gets caught by the Burnish. And at one point, the Burnish, one of them are dying from like injuries sustained from the facility they were being held in. And the only way to like save someone's life, they're like, look, the Burnish can heal each other with enough flames internally. So our fucking, God, why you just remembering his name? Leo goes, while this girl's unconscious, starts making out with her to try and transfer flame powers. And you're like, damn, she's unconscious. She can't consent to this. Besides that, I was like, that's the way they're going to heal each other. There's no like, let me put my flames on top of her to like warm her up or some shit. No, and then she dies. And then later in the movie, Gallo uses his tiny flame powers, which I don't know exactly how that worked. It wasn't 100% established at then. He said he got it from
Leo.
Mm-hmm. And
but
it's a weird
sound like that.
Yeah. So then he goes, Leo's fucking, getting flaky and about to fly away. Goes up, holds our boy down, gives him a nice big smooch, and then boom, Leo's back and alive. Wow. That's how people live. Hospitals are no longer needed. Well, I guess at the end of the movie they are needed because there are no more Burnish at the end of the movie. Also, like, Freezer Force is basically just ICE agents because, like, they literally raid a pizza joint. Like, within the first, 20 minutes of the movie, they're like, yo, Pizza Kid, you're coming with us. Mm-hmm. They corner him, and then, of course, Pizza Kid uses his fire flames to defend himself, and then they just steal him. That Pizza Kid's dead, by the way. There's no way he's alive.
No, he basically, ashed, because the Burnish, when they die, they don't just
he fucking Thanos snapped out of there.
Yeah, they all turn to ash, and the wind takes them away. Makes funerals real easy.
I know, right? You just like, hey, he died. Peace. It'd be real awkward because if they die, well, the thing is they do point out like, hey, we don't die, we live forever. But when we do die, it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Because they can heal themselves no matter the injury. Mm-hmm. But I wonder what is too much. You know what I mean? Like when they're
I'm not.
I wonder
sure
if it's something that would be instant death.
Like maybe I would assume it's like the heart stuff because they were fairly certain Leo was gonna die. When they shot him in the heart with that freezing pistol, bullet.
Something with extreme trauma probably, but a small let's say you cut off a finger, they'll probably heal over time. But also apparently all the Burnish's powers come from a sun from across the solar system that has a soul in it, and those souls live inside.
It's
the
a
Earth
parallel universe.
Parallel universe.
That's in the exact same spot where the Earth is, and they're based. If I get this correct, they are sentient
flame flames,
nuclear fusion.
Yeah,
Like,
that's basically the easiest way to describe it.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know how you reach that end goal, but okay.
Also, the main bad guy. Sorry, what's his name again?
For Franz Ferdinand Cray.
What? So Cray,
His last name is Forsyth.
fucking Cray stole all that technology. First of all, I don't get why the doctor didn't patent any of that technology he just made. He's like, here you go, Cray, be my assistant. Cray fucking turns around and it's like that fucking moon meme where it's like, nah, always has been. What? Pow, fucking shoots him. It's like, really, the doctor didn't patent anything? You know? Also, Cray has the power of the burnish. He's just been fucking hiding it.
Yeah.
That's why Gallo almost died, because Cray technically set his building on fire, and then Gallo ran out, and then Cray just picked him up, and it worked out perfectly. They even say it in the movie. It worked out perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it for the movie, though.
Yeah.
It's a weird, 2 hours. Like, the last hour was super interesting, because it's like an hour and 50 minutes, right?
It's an hour and 51.
Because we had to pause it.
Gotta have that 1 minute.
Yeah, because we had to pause it at the 55-minute mark, but from there on, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
The first 55 minutes, it's like 20 minutes of super good and 30 minutes of what the hell is going on. So 7 out of 10, right?
Yeah, I think 7 out of 10. Maybe like a little further down the line, I might even bump it down to like a 6 out of 10. Like, it's fine. I don't think it's crazy good. Like, there are definitely way better films, nor narratively. Like, I think Demon Slayer's movie is...
Well, I mean, that's comparing, like, God tier to, like, okay tier.
I mean, when you consider both studios being Trigger and Ufotable are very known for their fight and their high, like, animation qualities, though the animation style is drastically different, I think there's the slight weird disconnect because Promare feels so extra like American cartoonish with the bright colors and a lot of that.
Trying to make kids die from epilepsy. Yeah.
Yeah. It felt...
The thing is, I feel like if you're a Studio Trigger fan and you love what they do, you'll love this. You'll probably give it an 8 or a 9. But if you're not, you'd probably give it a 6 or maybe a 7. The thing is, it would have benefited way more if it was like I said, a 6 or 7 episode miniseries, or even 12 episode series where the first couple episodes is them extinguishing fires, meeting the terrorist. Then it's like 5 episodes finding out they're not really terrorists, and the last 6 episodes of this big fight. Because I feel like they definitely needed to expand on some of the other characters. Because like there's 2 guys in the original like anti-burner force, the fire force basically, that you know nothing about. Glasses dude,
Remy, and
well, there's the black guy. You learn nothing about him. You just know he's strong as fuck.
Yeah.
Then there's the glasses dude, which says like maybe like 20 words the whole movie. Then there's the girl, the electronics girl. You see her a little more often, but you still know very little about her. And then the girl, she didn't kiss him, by the way. It's fucking
Anya.
bullshit. She should have kissed him. She had a chance. She lost it because she fucking chickened out.
Yeah, that was kind of the other thing. There was that like small, weird pseudo setup, and even how she like is super worried about him, where you feel like there's that like love interest kind of being set up,
more than anybody
and
else.
it's like, nah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean maybe there isn't a series, is there? It's just a movie.
No. There's 2 OVAs, but both of them are set before the movie, the day before the movie.
So I mean, I think if they did like maybe another OVA. It definitely, I feel like, should have been a series, not a movie. It might have been. I need to look into it. Maybe they were trying to do a what?
Nothing. I'll show you later.
You stumble across some fan art?
No.
The thing is, yeah, I think if it was like a 12-episode series, and then they just did this as like a full movie, because this definitely feels like an overarch movie where they can skip stuff rather than a series. Yeah. They did that with Gurren Lagann. They have the first movie, which covers the first 12 episodes. Second movie covers the second 12 episodes. That's all I got.
Yeah. There's a train.
I don't even know where that fucking train is. I know where the tracks are, but I've never seen a train there.
Well, if you go right now, you can see it. Yeah, that's kind of about it. Next week we are going to be talking about
The B list.
our B list, which is
To Your Eternity, Zombieland Saga, Kramer. I don't remember.
I don't have it up.
Is Nagatoro?
No, Nagatoro's A, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to look it up. Other than that, look below. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
check out last 2 weeks episode.
I'm excited for next week's because there's some stuff that's gone down.
I know what happened in To Your Eternity. I just haven't watched it yet.
Someone got spoiled, if that's the case.
Yeah, it definitely got spoiled, and I'm sad, and I know I'm going to be sad when I watch it again.
86, To Your Eternity, Tokyo Revengers, Pretty Boy, Zombieland, and Farewell, My Dear Kramer.
Well, I think I'm switching out Kramer for Vivi. Yeah, I'm going to switch it out for Vivi, and I think by next week I should be caught up with Zombieland. I almost finished season 1. I'm literally 1 episode away from finishing season 1, which means I got to watch like 6 episodes of Zombieland.
4?
Oh, shit.
3?
Yeah, I can do
3 or 4, something like that.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.